When we talk about radio commercial production, spots are the terminology that we usually make. Um, Spots are usually really quick, simple, and easy to produce. In fact, just ask your co-worker or co-classmate Sam. Sam makes a variety of spots for WBWC 88.3, our college radio station, and they're pretty quick, pretty simple, and easy to produce. In fact, a lot of stations provide these services free to advertisers. So if you buy an advertisement, usually they'll produce spots for you at no charge. This is the case with any major radio production or radio advertisement company. They produce the spots for you as free to advertisers. The commercial radio production, obviously pre-production phase. A producer is assigned, studios are selected, directors are selected, talent, music, and sound effects are all selected during this pre-production period. Then comes the production process where things are recorded in a session in a sound studio with a control room and an audio console. That way all these pre-production elements are controlled through to create that actual spot, the session. Then after the session is recorded, post-production takes into effect, where sound effects, levels, and things are affected on the master tape, and dubs and edits and cuts are made to create the final spot that matches into that 15 or 30 second time limit. In TV commercials, it's very similar, where you have a pre-production, production, and post-production phase. However, it's a lot more complicated, as we can see from that K ad. It's very, very complex when dealing with any type of TV commercial, let alone that K commercial. So a lot of the elements that are involved in radio commercials are involved in TV commercials, just taken to that next step. In the pre-production phase, there's usually a script created, a storyboard created that tells the story of what the TV commercial is trying to accomplish, what the storyline is. Analyzation is required of the production techniques to help tell that story. Then a location is actually chosen. But TV storyboards are a great way to come up with a concept or an idea for a TV commercial. And in fact, for your final project, if you choose to do a TV commercial, I encourage you to create a storyboard as opposed to the final project or final process. You don't have to actually create a commercial. You can go ahead and create a storyboard for a TV commercial that tells a story frame by frame, like a comic book, the actual story of the commercial. During the production of the actual TV commercial, during the shoot, there's different effects that are used in TV commercials. Sound, lighting, camera, location, and talent are all used. And there's a bunch of different aspects of each one. For example, proper lighting is an art form. Cinematographers use light machines to help them define the range and intensity of light for the commercials itself. Different types of film are used depending on what the usage is of it, and locations are important for creating the right atmosphere for that individual commercial itself. And finally, talent. Talent's a big issue and a big project to manage. And all of these aspects have their own unions that you have to deal with and abide by certain rules to make sure that you're following the right rules for the proper usage of each one of these elements. Finally, in post-production, there's a film editor, sound mixer, director that do their part to actually edit, mix, and put together the TV commercial. So I'm sure you're all familiar with movies. During the movie process, the editing process, the post-production process can sometimes take longer than the filming of the movie itself. In fact, sometimes post-production processes for movies can take up to a year, whereas in TV commercials, post-production processes can take months. In fact, the K commercial for this upcoming Christmas was filmed in July. And they're still working on the post-production as we speak. So there will be a new TV commercial coming out for K Jewelers at the end of October for their holiday push that was filmed in Los Angeles in July. So post-production can take quite a long time. And then finally, the last thing that I want to talk about is the website production. Now, website production has come a long way, and the phases of website production can vary, but there is usually a systematic approach. The first phase involves in a learning phase. Now, this is when we work with individual clients to seek what they want out of a website, but we do also an audit on competing websites and the industry, so to speak. We research keywords, we research their competitors to see how their websites are built, and it's really the learning phase that helps us define all the elements that we must plan for, that we must include in our design strategy. That next planning phase uses everything we learn to come up with a cohesive plan for our new website. During the design phase, the designer begins to bring to life the website with the actual pages built out. The coding phase is next, where templates are created and transformed into a working website. For instance, one of the content management systems I use is called HubSpot. So when we create websites, we use this tool in HubSpot called Design Manager. So a lot of times we create what's called templates. Now when we open up this Design Manager, we can see some of the templates that I use to create different websites, pages for this customer in particular. So for instance, when I take a look at this one, for instance, this is actually a landing page version with different modules and different code to create a template that I can use to edit and add things and subtract things. Now, I see code when I create something like this, and it's all customizable modules based on that code. So what I try to do is go ahead and create the elements or the template to use for a number of different pages. So that would be my landing page template. I also have a contact us page that multiple pages will be created from. So this is a template that I use for a full page with a contact form at the bottom. So when I have to create a new page, this is one of the templates that I would use. So at that aspect, at that time, I design templates and start coding different templates. After I'm done with all the templates, I create all the copy, I create all the elements of the pages, and I send them for approval. When they're approved, then I then put them into the templates and launch the site and the individual pages. The next phase is the maintenance phase. And a couple things happen during the maintenance phase. Obviously, as businesses go and change, products change, copy changes, but it's important during the maintenance phase that we continually optimize that website and optimize what's on that website to improve the overall stats with that website, to improve the number of visitors that come to that website, to increase them, to get more leads, to get more conversions for that company, and that's all part of that maintenance process. And after we maintain, we again start over and learn, and it's a constant circle. It's a constant circular motion of trying to improve the website on a continual basis. So that is it for Chapter 12. Again, I want to remind you that homework is due next Wednesday, November 2nd. And I want you to identify an advertisement of your choice and examine the elements that may have gone into creating it. Using what we talked about tonight, I want you to break down the elements of that spot. Was it a print ad? Was it a TV ad? Talk about the individual elements that are involved in it. Maybe the graphics or the paper choice. Maybe the behind the scenes. Maybe like the special effects or the lighting or the actors that are involved in it. And tell me about all the elements. I want you to take a look at the elements that make up a TV commercial and give me your perspective on the possible elements that are associated with it. The paper is due by next week, next Tuesday at 6 p.m. or next Wednesday at 6 p.m. So make sure that you turn it in. Again, thanks for tuning in, and contact me throughout the